Good morning, everybody, and a very warm welcome to what is probably the first initiative of its kind in Indian publishing, a coming together of films and publishing, books on cinema. And I think at Harper we are by miles the finest and the best publishers of books on cinema, apart from all the other books that we do. We have some of the best names, some of the best-selling names, and today the roster of names we have for the various panels and discussions will give you an idea of the extent we have managed to build this list. Starting off this wonderful day, we have none other than filmmaker, producer, writer, Rakeysh Omprakash Mehra. I've been asked to introduce him, but most of the people today don't need any introductions, but I'll just do it. Rakeysh, as you know, director of the cult film Rang De Basanti. If there's one film that has sort of shaped the cultural movement against authority, it is that particular film, and has been one of the greatest films to have come out of Hindi cinema. Started out with Aks, a film that's a very personal favorite of mine, for various reasons, for daring to do what he did in 2001. Today it would have probably been considered a revolutionary film. At that point of time, it was not. Extremely, extremely privileged to have you with us, Rakeysh. Can't thank you enough. I'll just do a short sort of Q&A to warm you up and then leave the floor entirely to Rakeysh to take the day forward. I don't want to come in between him and all of you. It's going to be a very interactive session. Feel free to interrupt him, ask him questions. There is nobody better than Rakeysh at this point of time making films. So all your queries, all your doubts, how to go about, how to work with him maybe. Some of you will be interested in working on films with him. So please, Rakeysh, can you please come on stage?
So, totally nervous. Gulzar bhai is here in the house. So, I think I should leave. The door is open, I can see. And it's very attractive right now to escape from here. This was very embarrassing. Thank you for the surprise. I had absolutely no idea. So I came from, I'm from Delhi. So I went to Bombay. Sorry, I didn't came from Delhi. So I was all of 22 years. And yeah, you have dreams. And I traveled in Rajdhani, I think. And I had a book called Devdas. And I reached Bombay and started sustaining myself with advertising films. I had one. In the first 5 years I made one, yeah.
Okay, that's the hardest part of it, isn't it? Like, we've heard so many stories about, you know, going there and sleeping in pavements and, you know, like...
No,
it's
no,
like
that's the fun part.
Yeah.
And that's not the hardest. Imagine getting to get out of your family,
yeah,
and joint families,
yeah,
independence,
okay,
all that, yeah. So, I found out that this man called Gulzar, he lives in Kozio. So where is Kozio? Is in a place called Bandra. Oh yeah, Bandra sounds good. Delhi वालों के लिए नाम Bandra, Hill Road, Turner Road. हमारे यहाँ तो मतलब औरंगजेब रोड होता है किसी रंग में। तो मैं पहुँच गया वहाँ कोजियो। गेट कीपर ने रोका, कहाँ जा रहे हो? क्या गुलजार भाई ने बुलाया? अच्छा, पूछ लो। तो उसने देखा है, सही तो लग रहा है, कपड़े भी सही हैं, चलो। So went upstairs, 6 floors or 7th floor? 9th floor. Met with Kutti Saab. He said, and Kutti Saab's Hindi was amazing. How he managed in Gulzar Bhai's office is beautiful. Amongst his story in itself. We can make a documentary on that. So, हाँ क्या मांगते हैं? गुलजार भाई के साथ मीटिंग. इससे कोई मीटिंग नहीं है. मैंने कहा है. कहते नहीं है. मैंने कहा है. कहते मीटिंग तो मैं ही रखता हूँ. तुम्हें क्या चला? उसकी डायरी में तुम्हारा नाम नहीं है. तो मैंने कहा लिख लो फिर. तो उन्होंने बिठा के रखा मेरे को. उन्होंने सोचा चले जाएगा बोर हो के. 2-3 घंटे बाद उसने बोला ये ठीक है मानेगा नहीं. इसको 5 मिनट के लिए इवेंट इनसाइड की कोई आया है उसको आप मिल लो. So I entered the room and there was Gulzar Bhai. I couldn't see. It all became a halo. He was like in a silhouette. There was a strong backlight. Music started playing. And seriously, I don't remember the visual. I just remember a feeling. And me in all my stupidness took out Devdas and kept it on his table. I said, will you write Devdas for me? Yeah, he didn't throw me out. That's his kindness. He even gave me a cup of tea. And we still enjoy so many teas together. And he indulged me. Net, I left the room very encouraged. Otherwise, I would have come back to Delhi after a couple of years. And there are hundreds of us who are filmmakers, who are potential, who are storytellers, who are book writers, who are carpenters, who are... It's that little encouragement, I think, Shantanu.
Yeah.
Not just encouragement, that little
understanding,
acceptance that you have it, go out and fight it out yourself. So, story over, no Devdas.
Devdas didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Any particular reason it didn't happen?
I didn't know how to make a movie, come on. I never assisted anybody, I never touched a camera. The first time I saw a camera was in my own shooting. I never gone to a film school. And my knowledge of films was जो Regal में Rivoli में देखा है Racecourse में. That was about it. And Racecourse was the closest because I was living in Claridge's hotel. Dad was working there.
So it gave you the confidence कि मुझे फिल्में ही बनानी है. Like
confidence, you need stupidity for that. Who said confidence will make you make movies? There has to be certain kind of passion, madness. You're trying to tell something, but you really don't know what you are trying to say. It's not so loud and clear out there or written. And you discover. So I'll complete the story. 23 years old, 23 and 27, and उसमें 2 और जोड़ लो. 29 years later, I went back to Gulzar Bhai. And I said, Gulzar Bhai, वो साहिबा ने तीर क्यों तोड़े थे? Now this time, I got the appointment. I had given myself. I could ask for an appointment, and I was granted. को मैं बॉस क्या नाम है? तो बैठो, चाय, दूध वाली इनके लिए, मेरे लिए बिना दूध की ग्रीन टी. तो शुरू हुआ रिचुअल. हाँ, पूछो. मैंने कहा, सर साहिबा ने तीर क्यों तोड़े थे? बच्चों, वो तो तुम जाके साहिबा से पूछो. मैंने कहा सर बहुत दिनों से ढूंढ रहा हूँ, सालों से मिल नहीं रही, तो चलो हाथ पकड़ के चलते हैं, ढूंढते हैं, जब मिलेगी उन्हीं से पूछ लेंगे. And Mirza Sahiba was born. Mirza was born. One of the closest films to my heart.
Yeah.
One of the films that really didn't do well. Matlab, didn't do well is the understatement. It disappeared.
Yeah.
And but just 3 months ago, it got even selected as the 20 must-watch films in the world. So it was good.
The whole mounting and structure of it was really impressive. You know, like one never knows why something like that didn't work out.
No, everything works out.
Yeah.
See, that's the beauty about filmmaking, that everything works. Some things also work in the box office.
Yeah.
Some things don't work at the box office. Some things work at the box office but really don't work as a film.
Yeah.
So here we are talking cinema today in this gathering. And I'm not sitting in my distributor's office and saying, so one can have a slightly more frank kind of opinion out here and open your heart up. So fine. We attempted a musical, and I was growing out of lip sync songs in my cinema. It's not that there's no hard and fast rule, but mostly after Ux, I felt that it is killing my characters, and that does not mean that I've grown up on music. My one ear was stuck to the radio all the time. I love music. I love the poetry. I love the expression. For me, that's what makes. And there's been a huge debate in Indian cinema about singing and music. It's not about cinema में music की ज़रूरत है कि नहीं. Life में music की ज़रूरत है कि नहीं. In life, we need poetry. We need songs. And otherwise, we cannot survive. You know, we'd be a fish out of water. And cinema, as of now, over the last 40, 50 years, has been providing us that. When an alternate scene will develop, evolve, you will see poets and singers will start expressing themselves outside cinema also. There have been attempts, but it needs a huge machinery, it needs a discerning audience, it needs people to encourage that. But after Raks, which was my first film, I realized that I love the space of filmmaking. Technique is coming to me naturally, so I'm not thinking. I'm not thinking camera lagana hai, ye karna hai, ye chalana hai, wo karna hai, steady cam, special effects. It's happening to me naturally. It's just happening. I don't have to think. I'm loving the actors and dealing with them, getting into their hearts, into their minds. And somehow then you start feeling them as an extension of yourself when they go out and perform, which is an amazing feeling, which is schizophrenic, to say the least, because there are so many of you suddenly, and you are in a girl, you are in a boy, you are in a mother, you are in a daughter, you are even in a child, and it's like, wow, it's scary. It gives you sleepless nights. But I realized that I have absolutely no clue of how to tell a story. What the hell is cinema? You know, what? So, okay, I want to say something, but how to say it? So for 5 years I didn't do anything. I used to travel to London a lot because of my advertising. Used to take me there, and there was breakthrough technology happening in London. So I wanted to be in the forefront, so kept applying those techniques in the ad films I was doing. And then I'd stopped making ad films after that, but I kept going to London and kept watching the musicals and there's a shop called HMB, and the basement is a full wall which had world cinema. And I always used to get attracted to that wall, and it had thousands of video cassettes, thousands means thousands. You know कैसे होता है वहाँ आप लंदन जाते हो तो आप पानी का बॉटल भी कैलकुलेट करते हो दिमाग में, अरे यार ये 3 पाउंड मांग रहा है, 180 रुपए की बॉटल, आज पानी नहीं पीते टाइम नल से पी लेंगे, ऐसा मतलब you keep calculating what to do. Not because you don't have the money, it's because your money is 80 times cheaper than the other money. So I used to keep looking at the video cassettes and $29.99, $19.99 सेल में हो रहा है, कोई बॉक्स सेट मिल रहा है, एंड एक ले लूं, नहीं लेता. Didn't have the courage to invest in myself, or there was foolishness. So you start thinking, the flight is there in the night, you're going to the airport, you run to HMB, you shut your head up and you say, give me this, give me this, give me this, give me this, ये भी दे दो, वो भी दे दो, ये credit card है, ये लो, 500 euro खर्च हो गए, हो गए, 1000 रुपए हो गए. And I discovered Kurosawa, I discovered Fellini, I discovered Krzysztof Kieslowski, and I'm saying other than the so-called American filmmakers. I had grown up on V. Shantaram. That was my favorite, on Vimalda, Gulzar Bhai's films, and to name a few, and Goldie Sir, John Mera Naam and Guide, and K. Asif and all that. So that was my diet. Suddenly there was a new way, a world way of telling a story.
It's what a filmmaking school would have probably introduced you to, had you sort of.
Could have, I didn't know. Yeah, but the thing is, because I had bought these films, they became very precious for me, because I had paid my hard-earned money. Nobody showed it to me, and nobody was telling me to see these films. So it wasn't like, यार ये देखनी पड़ेगी, अब ये बोल रहा है, अभी इसके बाद सवाल भी पूछेगा. What do you think about that scene and all that? And I got very attracted to Kurosawa. There's something formed. You see a lot of that in Mirza, as such. That's my ode to Kurosawa. To the extent that 2 years back we launched, released Bhagwan Ka Bhag in Japan. So that was my 3rd or 4th visit to Japan. So this time, थोड़ी जान पहचान हो गई थी, so I wanted to see where Kurosawa lived. So my friend out there, Kyoko Dan, she arranged to meet his assistant, who is now a master, who's made 5 films already. So one interpreter, he's speaking in Japanese, I'm speaking in Hindi or English, and he got me a book, and we spent the whole day together. Apparently he was 17 years old when he joined Kurosawa as a cook. So I'm telling you, filmmaking. Yeah, I'm not trying to. And Kurosawa had this habit of wrapping up, and 5 hours they would eat, and the cook would cook. And all the department heads, the cameraman, the production designer, the actors would come in, the writers, and they're talking, they're eating, they're talking, they're eating, they're talking, every day. And the cook is learning filmmaking while he's feeding them, and now he's a master filmmaker. So he spoke to me about that, and he took me to Kurosawa's house, which was outside Tokyo. It's like a temple. And there's a book also on that. So I could feel Kurosawa there. I met his daughter. She has a restaurant which is like 7 Samurai set. Actually, yeah, it's a set. वो जो उसमें सोचो है, उसको उसने restaurant बना दिया, and all the dishes out of Seven Samurai and Rashomon, and you know, and you get drunk on sake. Yes, I mean, it was amazing. So this accidental meeting with the master himself through a shelf in London, a Japanese filmmaker, and Indian upstart. They meet through a video cassette. And when I kept watching these films, I realized there's a structure. I realized there's a beginning, middle, and end. I realized there's a setup, there's a conflict, and there's a resolution. I realized that people talk about 3 acts. But 3 acts are in a play. What the hell is screenplay? So, okay, ये मुझे मालूम नहीं था. ये लगा बुक आ गई, बना दो फिर. और उस जमाने में सर सुनने में आता था कि वो सेट पे सीन मिलते थे. मतलब those were dark ages. So I thought, the talk in Bombay used to be, तुम क्या बना रहे हो? यार मैं तो टावरिंग इन्फर्नो बना रहा हूँ. अच्छा, मैंने भी उसके 2 सीन किए. अच्छा मैं आथर बना रहा हूँ. वेरी शराबी. हाँ अच्छा, वही स्टेप दिया अमित जी को मैंने. अबे तो क्या बना रहे हो, मतलब आप कौन सी DVD बना रहे हो? तो वो to spend your life, nothing wrong, it's your choice, please make DVDs. I'm not being judgmental, but for me I thought to spend my life doing somebody else's work, you know, and not even without his or her permission or blessing, and not having a point of view. I'd love to remake one of Gulzar Bhai's with his permission, his blessing, and my interpretation. But other than that, thoda jamta nahi. So I started reading about screenplay, and I realized that writer is the first hero of the film. There is no other hero. For the audience, yes, there are poster boys, poster girls. Has to be, those are the vehicles. But as the creator of cinema, all starts with that thought process, the expression you have, and how the writing process begins. So I would read these books on screenplay writing and any bookshelf, cinema bookshelf. There used to be the name called Sitfield. 5 out of 10 books were Sitfield. तो मैं वो खरीद के ले आया, उनको चार्ट डाला, बैकवर्ड्स फॉरवर्ड सब पढ़ के, और समझ में आने लगा कि ये चक्कर क्या है स्क्रीन प्ले का. Through his books I learned that a novel plays in your head. So the same novel, if 100 of us are reading, we are all imagining 100 different things, that we are interpreting the same story in 100 different ways. A playwright unfolds on the stage in front of you, and you have to take it as it unfolds. There's no interpretation. A screenplay is nothing but a story told in pictures. So can you tell a story in pictures? So that was also an attempt in Mirzia. I thought, because out of the 2 hours and 4 minutes, that's the film length, 1 hour and 10 minutes is silent. It's only pictures. And that's why it was hard to digest for a normal cinema going audience, because they don't deserve this. They deserve more. They deserve more entertainment as such, which I realize, So, got the idea of screenplay, understood that there is one beautiful aspect of cinema. When I met a gentleman called Walter Murch, and I attended a workshop, and then I started writing to him, and then I read some of his books, Blink of an Eye and all. He's a great editor. Now Walter Murch stands and edits. He's right now, I think 92 years old or 85, he's there. So he's a master. Apocalypse Now, Godfather, you name the films. And he's there. Big films, small films, independent films. So I asked him, what's a cut, Mr. Moji? He said there are many reasons for a cut. So let's write down 5 reasons. Continuity, exit left, enter right, you know, how so it should look smooth, and various things, how you would splice and stuff like. He said, but my reason for the cut is emotional. There's no logic. So you could be totally wrong as long as your cut is emotional. So I understood that cinema is story told in pictures, and editing is a unique art. So, my partner in life, who married me, is also a national award winning editor, and she's a master editor. So एक तो घर में भी editor है, तो और मतलब I keep saying editors are the top of the line. Have to. I don't have a choice. So, see, cinematography is born out of painting. Writing is an extension of writing. Poetry is poetry. Music is an evolution of music being going on since Drupal. Hey, school तो चल रहा है ना अपना. Acting, from street plays, theatre, so on and so forth. All these disciplines and cinema have come down the ages through a mother discipline and found itself in front of a camera or whatever. Production design comes from stagecraft. You know, then you start, and wardrobe comes from fashion or whatever, you know. Editing is the only art form which is born out of cinema. It is just 100 years old, 110 or 20 now. It's unique to cinema. Imagine something which is just born 120 years back, which was never there, never existed. You know, it's like, there was no editing. Now there's editing. It's funny. It's mesmerizing. So I said, let's play with editing since it's so important. So in our minds right now, while I'm going blah blah blah, you're hearing some blah blah blah, but your mind is also going to, oh, that thing I have to do in the evening, that I did. I fought with her, I shouldn't have done that. You know? Oh, I'll make up with him. I have to cook that, do that. Your mind is non-linear. So I said, if the mind can be non-linear, why can't cinema be non-linear? And editing gave me that power, that tool to cut in time. We used to call it flashbacks. And that was a given rule of flashback. I said, no, I'm not flashback. I'm a great believer of parallel universe. I think there's something else going on somewhere else right now.
Yeah.
And there's another session happening, and we are sitting there.
Yeah. It's as much Stephen Hawking also says that.
Amazing. So, there is a sense, so many times I requested Buddha, like, let's do something on the cosmos and universe, and then he tells me something and you forget, I'm not ready yet. I know that, I quietly go with the poonch daba ke wapas. So I started playing with parallel time. So experiment that in Rang De Vasanti,
Absolutely, yeah.
in Bhag Milka Bhag. Didn't have the opportunity in Delhi 6, but as such, Messiah most certainly. But that's a beautiful screenplay I got. So it was there for me, and all I had to do was action cut, and किसी ने edit कर दिया. मैं Shankar did beautiful music. Gulzar Bhai wrote, and all that happened, and I got the credit. So Rang De Vasanti released on 26th July 2006. January, sorry. Thank you. जुलाई में क्या होने वाला है?
It's okay. J and J both are J, so you just got mixed up.
नहीं, जुलाई आने वाला है. जो आने वाला है तो वो दिमाग में रहता है. No, I'm releasing a film in July, so it's pre-occupied. Sorry. Yeah. So 26 जनवरी कैसे बोल सकते हैं? 26 जनवरी, Republic Day. I paraded in one of those in from Rashtrapati Bhavan, NCC. And the movie released, and immediately we knew it's a hit. And by the night we got to know it's a super hit, which is fine. So I'm not bragging here because half my films are super flops. In fact, every alternate film. So it's like till now, Aks didn't work, Rang De worked, Delhi 6 didn't work, Bhag Milka Bhag worked, Mirza didn't work, so the next one will work. So, in the box office, yeah. But those gave me the courage. Rang De gave me the courage to make Delhi 6. Courage and the resources also. अरे ये हिट डायरेक्टर है, जो बोल रहा है इसको कर लें. तो फिर भूल जाता है, नहीं ये हिट वाला नहीं है. तो then you struggle and you say okay. And I knew it's a super hit, so I made a call to Los Angeles, to Sid Field's office. It was morning hurry, and Aviva, his wonderful, beautiful wife, picked up the phone, and she, एक writer का office देखने के लिए मतलब Aviva is there, and Sid is a chilled out guy. He's a professor, he's a guru. And Sid goes back to filmmakers of the 40s and 50s. He was a script reader. His friends are those kind of Sidney Poitier and all that. So you get to understand so much more. You know, he's talking to me about that cinema. So I called him and I said, I want to join Sid Field's class. Because I had learned so much from him. Now my time was to go, and I had some money because of Rang De Vasanti. So she said, okay, so you can go write a mail, and our next class is in Vienna, I think. You can come from India there and let us know, we'll fill, and you can write a mail to me. I said, no, I want 1:1 class. She said, no, Sid doesn't have time, he's teaching in USC, he does this, he's doing this, he's CNN, a final draft he's inventing, he's writing books, so वो 1-to-1 नहीं होता है हॉलीवुड में. तो मैं पीछे पड़ गया उसके, जैसे कुट्टी साहब के पीछे पड़ा. तो वो मैड हो गई मेरे पे, and she's right now my best friend. We lost Sid 2 years ago. So she said, you speak to Sid. I said, I'll speak to Mr. Field. Okay. Speak tomorrow. So I called Mr. Field, good morning, next day. This is Rakeysh Mehra from Bombay, and I want a 1-to-1 class with you. So he also said, no, polite, gentleman. No. I kept insisting. And then he said, no, you cannot afford it. He came to that. I said, Mr. Field, you don't know, my film released yesterday night, it's a super hit. I'm a very rich man, at least for now. So he laughed. So he says, I don't work in July because the college is closed and I want to be here around me. So July you come over, I give you some time. So I went to LA in July and we spent 45 days. And I stayed in his garage, used to make his coffee and he used to teach me. And we used to chat and yeah, we had great fun.
Did you watch Rangde or something?
Yes, of course.
And what was his take on like what?
He liked Delhi 6 more. Yeah. He thought there was, while Rangde Basanti, he felt my expression in Delhi 6 was stronger, he felt.
Okay.
I was trying to say more difficult things. And he said that you dared to say कि ये शीशा देखो इसमें अल्लाह भी है और भगवान भी है. He said, who will listen to you? Everybody wants their Allah, everybody wants their Bhagwan. And nobody is confusing. Ek to you can't see Allah. Then you're saying see Allah. Then you're saying your Hanuman is actually Allah. So, okay, best of luck to you, but well done. So I said, okay, thanks. So screenplay became very important for me. Where the stories come from, sometimes they come from great literature. Like later you'll meet the master himself, Vishal Bhardwaj, and he's taken the master of masters and reinterpreted. He's even more stupid than I am, which is amazing. He's crazy, I think. उसको डर लगता ही नहीं, मतलब वो शेक्सपियर को उठा के वो इंटरप्रेट करता है, मतलब ये कोई तरीका है. I think he learned it from you. Seriously. Because you also talk to Galib like as if he's sitting next to you. बात कर रहे हैं तो वो साथ वाली कुर्सी पे लगता है कि मिर्जा गालिब वहाँ बैठे हुए हैं, मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ इस कमरे में. It's a misfit. And Tagore. And मतलब it's crazy because these people are not, Shakespeare is not dead and gone for Vishal. He's there, he's conversing with him as such. So, yeah. I lost my thread because...
No, absolutely.
Yeah, because I
stories.
suddenly feel so small.
Yeah.
So stories, for me, I can't talk for everybody else, they come from life. मेरी नानी जिसको हम इन्नी बुलाते थे पुरानी दिल्ली में, छत पे जब हम सोते थे, सब छत पे सोते थे, सारे कजन्स, और रोज रात को वो महाभारत रामायण सुनाती थी. और रामायण जब खत्म होती थी, वही कहानी, she would spoil it for us. She would say ये रावण और राम एक ही है. वो उनका इंटरप्रिटेशन था, वो अलग अलग नहीं थे. तो मैंने अक्स बना दी, अच्छा आदमी बुरा आदमी एक ही सिक्के के दो पहलू, मतलब. एंड it was a paranormal thriller, but it was given to me by my 90-year-old nani, who gave this thought to me beside giving me नींबू का अचार. And that stuck with me. कि यार ये अच्छा आदमी बुरा आदमी तुम्हारे अंदर ही होता है, बाहर नहीं होता है. तो शायद मैं नानी की बात को अच्छी तरह समझा नहीं पाया था, तभी शायद वो ऑडियंस तक.
But wasn't
आपकी फेवरेट है,
the thing that struck me about that film at that point of time was also the fact that you were making your first film. Normally people play it pretty safe, you know. One would have thought Mirzia kind of film, a love story, of course a different kind of a love story, would have been most people who start off with that kind of thing, and not with a story that's talking of certain other levels of consciousness, ki bura and bhala in the own thing, you know. So what gave you the confidence sort of, or what gave you the stupidity?
I'm telling you, foolishness.
Foolishness.
Yeah. Please believe me. It's foolishness. You are not believing.
Yeah.
You need foolishness to make cinema. You need that because yeah. How to explain it?
Yeah.
It's very difficult. It's impossible. And so I reinterpreted Nani in Delhi 6 कि वो काला बंदर तुम्हारे अंदर है और वो पुरानी दिल्ली में काला बंदर घूमता था और एक केरला से कोई आया था उसको 500 रुपए बंदर पकड़ने का मिलता था एंड देयर वर न्यूज़ सो ऑल दैट वाज रिसर्च उसी टाइम बाबरी मस्जिद टूटी थी कुछ साल पहले तो आई टुक दैट कि यार ये जो मस्जिद है यहाँ 414 साल पहले एक हनुमान का मंदिर होता था नहीं तो मस्जिद पे ये बंदर क्यों घूम रहे हैं लॉजिक है तोड़ो इसको सर और हवन करते हैं अच्छा तुम ये तोड़ोगे तुमने जो पेड़ है ना उस पे जो मंदिर है हम उसमें आग लगा देते हैं तो पुरानी दिल्ली की ये खासियत है कि ईद दिवाली सब कुछ होता था सब मिलते थे चरखे वालों पहुंचने के लिए मुझे बल्ली मारन से जाना पड़ता था या फिर जामा मस्जिद से आना पड़ता था जहाँ मेरी माँ का मेरी नानी का घर है ना ग्रोन अप है सर डायगनली ऑपोजिट गली पासवान एंड बट एट द I had never ever heard of an intercaste marriage. How can it be possible that two hearts haven't met there from Ballimar and Charkewala? I had never in my growing up years and I wondered what's going on. I had never seen somebody come to your house for dinner to hang out. At the drop of the hat, हर एक गली के बाहर एक फाटक है फाटक मतलब फाटक बहुत बड़ा होता है 22 फीट का होता है मोटा सा होता है इट्स अ डोर एंड इट वुड शट पीपल वर स्कैर्ड दे वर इनसिक्योर दे हैड द डीमन इनसाइड देम एंड दे थॉट द डीमन इज आउटसाइड सो आई ट्राइड टू टेल दैट स्टोरी थर्ड टाइम ऑन आई टुक माय नानी स्टोरी एंड फाउंड मिल्खा सिंह स्टोरी रेजोनेटेड ही हैड डीमंस ड्यूरिंग द पार्टीशन इंडिपेंडेंस भी कमाल की चीज है करोड़ों लोग इंडिपेंडेंस सेलिब्रेट कर रहे थे एंड मिलियंस वर सफरिंग इंडिपेंडेंस एंड पार्टीशन एंड द पीपल हु सफर द मोस्ट आर द women and the children essentially in such whether it's Brixton riots whether it was apartheid whether it's the partition of India whether it was the cotton fields of Midwest. It's always the women and the kids. And Milkha Singh was one of them. He witnessed the massacre of his mother, father, this, that. Or he was supposed to go for a peace friendship game to Lahore at the behest of Jawaharlal Nehru and General Ayub Khan. He said, मैं नहीं जाता हूँ, मेरे पैर नहीं उठेंगे, मेरे अपनों का खून है हवा में, मैं सांस नहीं ले पाऊंगा, आप मुझे दौड़ने के लिए बोल रहे हो. So Chacha Nehru told him कि listen, you're a soldier, you fight enemies, this is the enemy inside you, you fight yourself, you have to fight that. So he goes to that land which he hated and which he was scared of. मतलब आपको बच्चों ने बोल दो ये पीपल के पेड़ में एक भूत रहता है, आप वो रास्ता लेना बंद कर देते हो इधर. Or you get mugged in an alley, somebody steals your wallet. You stop taking that shortcut. You take a round cut because you're scared. So he never went back to Pakistan. There was something, there was hatred, there was this thing. But when he goes there, he cries and cries. So he has, abhi wo halka ho gaya. And then he runs that race. And this time when he looks, his smiling childhood is with him. He's come face to face with his demons. So third time on, I said to my nani, no more of your stories. मैंने 3 बार कर दिया. और थर्ड टाइम लोगों को और मेरे को भी समझ में आ गया. Rang De Basanti, I'm from Balwarthi Air Force School, next door, next to ISC. There's a MiG aircraft. Even today, I went there in the morning, and I used to see the MiG aircraft. We used to get punished underneath, have a tiffin, run around it, romance under the MiG. Then came a documentary in NDTV, Coffins in Tricolor, and I cried, and I was angry. The MiGs were crashing. No fault. The trigger mechanism, Russia had broken up, 2000 crore ka ghatala, CAG had unearthed it, and the trigger mechanism was failing, and the young pilots were dying. And the then defense minister, sir, George Fernandez, wears a G suit, which is your anti-gravity or whatever, gets into a cockpit, takes a joyride and declares ये तो देखो safe है plane, मैं उड़ के आया हूँ उसमें, और ये जो हमारे नौजवान हैं ये होश में नहीं जोश में हवाई जहाज उड़ा रहे. I wanted to kill him, so I killed him in the film. Growing up in Old Delhi, you will know that 15th August, or growing in Delhi, 15th August is a celebration of kites, and महिंदर कपूर के गाने आते रहते हैं. वो बचपन से आप 15 अगस्त को फिर महिंदर कपूर आता, फिर टाल टाल पर सोने की चिड़िया पर, फिर शहीद. तो कहीं ना कहीं वो घुस गया था भगत सिंह तब से. तो और फिर you in Delhi, you know, when I researched the youth of 20s, why did these kids, 19-year-old, 20-year-old, 21-year-old, drop a pen? Biswell was a poet. Ashfaq could do decent poetry. लगेंगे मेले वतन पे मर मिटने वालों का वही निशा होगा, सरफरोशी की तमन्ना. And they would write decent poetry. Why would they pick up a gun? So I started reading. I went to London again, went to the Paddington British Council Library. These guys were termed as terrorists. Oh, okay. ये तो terrorists हैं अंग्रेजों के लिए. वहाँ पे everything available is Bhagat Singh is a terrorist, Azad, and these terrorists were caught and hung and all that. फिर वो जलियांवाला बाग का transcript पढ़ा. It was amazing. The Dyer fellow was mind-blowing. He must have killed so many, and then he was very proud of it.
Yes.
So I started understanding the time. Then I found an incident in यश की धरोहर करके एक किताब थी, where ये 6 महीने से भूखे थे, सॉन्डर्स को मारने के बाद घूम रहे थे, भटक रहे थे, और दाढ़ी वाड़ी बढ़ गई थी, कपड़े फट गए थे, और एक ईंट की भट्टी में छुप के बैठे हुए थे, और 3 दिन से खाना नहीं खाया. तो पंडित जी आए, चंद्रशेखर आजाद को पंडित जी बुलाते थे. तो वो कुछ 16 आने कहीं से इकट्ठे करके लेके आए 3 दिन, और वहाँ पे जब उन्होंने देखा तो all these youngsters were having a meal, बिरयानी, रोगन जोश, ये सब, हरी मिर्ची, बाजरे की रोटी, but it was all imaginary. They were having a feast. अरे यार और खा. हाँ. They were making fun of their hunger. I realized, wow, what spirit. And Azad started crying. He had tears in his eyes. So they went to Raja की मंडी, and जहाँ पे वो हलवाई से खाना ले रहे थे, भगत सिंह के पास पैसे थे, उससे पैसे मांगने के लिए मुड़े तो देखा वो भाग के जा रहा है. Across the street there's a theater, वहाँ पे a movie is playing, Uncle Tom's Cabin. इसने कहा ये पैसे मिलने टिकट खरीद लेते हैं, खाना तो बाद में खाएंगे. और वो पिक्चर देखने से सबके लिए, उसको इतनी डांट पड़ी तो उसने चंद्रशेखर आजाद को समझाया कि पंडित जी वो वेस्टर्न फिल्म है, उसमें वो गोली कैसे चलाते हैं, बंदूक कैसे पकड़ते हैं, वो सीखना था हमारे को, वो खाने। तो उन्होंने पटा लिया उसको, उसको देखनी फिल्म थी। So I said, oh, I also love to watch movies here. आज खाना नहीं खाते, टिकट खरीदते हैं. So I found the character. They were not with a halo. They don't turn in slow motion. They were kids who loved movies. So the kids today also love movies. They love beer. They the today's character. So I found the synergy, and I found the non-linear editing. I found the screenplay to it, and because I was from Balbharti Air Force and MiGs were falling down, I wrote the plot around that, simply, to kill the defense minister. And to tell the youngsters the idea of patriotism has gone beyond Mahendra Kapoor. Let's bring some Diler Mehndi into it. So each story, everybody has a reason, so it comes out.
Did you foresee the kind of impact the film would have while making, like, it was followed by the Jessica Lal thing, and sort of civil society sort of took off from where Rang De Basanti sort of left off, isn't it? Did you foresee that?
No, I think it's quite funny because you borrow the film from real life, from the Bhagat Singh and from the corruption, and make it into real life, and then real life emulates the real life.
Yeah.
So it's just reflections, it's just we keep mirroring, and the history of cinema, if you go down to understand the history of cinema, you have to understand the villain, not the hero. So एक टाइम पे अंग्रेज विलन थे हमारी फिल्मों के 40 के दशक में, फिर कन्हैया लाल विलन बन गया क्योंकि वो मनी लेंडर था, जमींदार था, क्योंकि वो था बॉन्डेड लेबर थे, द फार्मर्स वर सफरिंग. Then your father became the villain. There was a period of father was the main villain, because for the first time the youth was not doing what his father was telling. Then the system became the villain.
Yeah.
So the anti-hero became the hero. एक टाइम पे पुलिस आपके मोहल्ले में आ जाए ना, आपका मुंह काला हो जाता था. एक वो टाइम था. अब काला बाजार में देवानंद जब टिकट बेचता है, वो हिट है, वो सही है. You are okay with a hero who's a black hero. You're okay with a hero who's a smuggler in Diwar.
Yeah.
Because वो सिस्टम विलन बन चुका था. बेरोजगारी आ गई थी. हमारे हीरो नाचते नहीं थे. आपने कभी देखा है सहगल को, अशोक कुमार को, दिलीप कुमार को, राज कपूर को, देवानंद को ना? हाँ, एक अदा थी, बट वो डांस नहीं करते थे. तो शम्मी कपूर इज द डिवाइडिंग लाइन ऑफ आवर सिनेमा. The cinema is before Shammi Kapoor, after Shammi Kapoor. There are various theories. Because we lost the China war, not lost. They walked over us, slapped us 3-4 times, and then slapped again. Then they walked and then realized एक थप्पड़ और मारते, एक और मारा, फिर चले गए. बहुत बुरी तरह हारे थे. बेरोजगारी, we lost Nehru, corruption. Society was not working. There were tough times, tough. Bengal drought, famine, Maharashtra drought, 5-year plan failed, the second one. So we gave birth to a dancing hero. The hero started dancing. So we entered the theatre to escape.
Yeah.
But there also a lot of filmmakers kind of held on and tried to tell stories, and their expression within that also tried to make that entertaining also, and that's what attracted me. That's what the cinema of the masters attracted, and that's the bridge, and that's the journey I want to keep following. And the hard work they have done, and just building on that,
Yeah.
because you can entertain the people while saying something.
On that note, I think we'll open the session to questions from the audience. I think there'll be a lot of.
अभी तक बोर नहीं हुए सर?
I think it's been a fascinating thing. So, any questions from the audience pertaining to films and his films?
Rang De Basanti was also supposed to be made in English. I think the title was painted yellow.
Yeah.
What happened?
It didn't get made.
No, but what was the reason?
The producers I was working with, they didn't fund the film. And I had a tough time, had to fight legal battles to get the rights back. And so it kept getting stalled for a year. And my crew was there. So I gave up the idea of Painted Yellow, which didn't come out of my heart, the English version of this film. And I went back to the thing of doing Rang De Basanti.
And why was there a suggestion to do it in English?
Because they were English producers. They thought in English. They were bringing dollar money, pound money. Yeah. So जो जहाँ का होता है उसको वही, मतलब I'm not blaming them or I'm not blaming myself. आप कहीं से आते हो? I'm from Delhi, so you'll see Mirzia, Milkha Singh, Rang De Basanti are all North Indian characters, because this is where I've grown in. Now I have had the courage to tell a story called Mere Pyare Prime Minister. For Gulzar Bhai has written amazing songs, 4 gaane hain, which is a story of a 8-year-old slum kid who wants to get respect for his single mother, 26-year-old Anjali Patil, and there are 4 slum kids. We've shot with actual kids, and you've translated the songs. They are amazing, they're beautiful. So after living in Bombay for 30 years, I could tell a story based in Bombay. So wherever you come from, I think I'm trying to answer your questions in different ways.
There's somebody right at the end.
Hello Rakeysh, I'm Preeti Hoon. And I have 2 questions for you. First is related to Rang De Basanti only. What is that experience with Aamir Khan that you got, which you would have not got with any other actor? And first you answer that, I'll ask you the other question.
Yeah, he became a team member. You know, there are 2 things. You can participate as an actor, or you become a soulmate. So he stood by, he understood the script. I narrated to him all of half an hour. And in the next minute we were talking about कैसे shoot करेंगे, क्या होगा, तो कैसे करेगा, ये सब वो सब. There was no discussion of money, मेरी dates. And once he committed, because the film kept getting stalled and nobody was financing the film. Aamir had gone through a very lean patch. He had a break for 6 years, and 3 and 4 years, then Mangal Pandey came. And our industry is amazing. One film flops, मतलब वो भी 4 साल बाद. So Rang De actually लगान के कुछ 6 साल बाद आ रही थी. ऐसा कुछ था, हो रहा था. So we were all went through a very tough time. There was no funder for the film. We got the money just 40 days before the film. And Ronnie understood the film in one narration.
Do you think there was any other actor who would have done more justice to this?
I'm sure, yeah. Their actors are beautiful people, and they all stand by the history of cinema. So for me, the greatest joy of working with Aamir was didn't only discover a friendship for both of us, and there's never been a Diwali we have not spent together since Rang De Basanti, and as such, yeah.
My other question is
So that's a little when things go beyond a film. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Yeah. So going beyond the films, when you face a flop, so you said you know there's a success movies and there's a flop and there's success. So how do you pick yourself back, and what is the journey that you take which is very different for you?
I think in this business of filmmaking now, or the business of art, there is nothing called success or failure to begin with. I can say that in this room. Yeah. And if something hasn't gone down well, then you learn from it. That's about it. So, in the eyes of the world, you have to give yourself permission to fail. That is very important. In fact, when we embarked on Mirzia, it was a tough one. There's a lot of hard work involved in it, obviously from writing stage to execution. The first thing I told Shankar Ehsan Loy, the first thing, I said, guys, give yourself permission to fail on this one. We'll all fail. So Ehsan told me that after the box office result. He said, I still remember. I said, that's why it's your best album. Yeah, and it's one of their better works. And Shankar says that all the time.
Hello, so it's going to be very nice, very informative session. So I would ask you two questions. One question is that you just talk about Fellini, Kurosawa, and other movie maker. Which world cinema director made you so strong about that? Yes, we can do it. Or any regional storyteller or director. Just for say, what I feel that in Indian movie, simple storytelling gave a new session, a new genre to the world cinema, just like Satyajit Ray's Pothir Panchali, the very simple storytelling. Fine. And in the Kurosawa movie, like a centrifugal movie style, like one story and going through another story. So, which filmmaker made you feel like so strong in India or in world cinema?
In India is V. Shantaram.
V. Shantaram.
Most certain.
Okay. And in what?
Maybe because I saw him at an early age. तो मुझे लगा यही है. But बड़े होने के बाद भी अभी भी लगता है यही है. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो सिर्फ वो उस टाइम का इम्प्रेशन था. कुछ और चखा दिया होता तो शायद वो मास्टर बन जाता. But his cinema was fantastic for me.
Yeah.
No, different people have different attraction. And Krzysztof Kieslowski from the Polish filmmaker. I
Three
think
colors. Three colors one.
Yeah, three colors, blue, red, white, and Decalogue. The reason is he's taken the 10 commandments and made 10 films. Each commandment being a thou shalt not kill, thou shalt, and वो उसका अपना interpretation. He is making films under the Polish regime of communism, harsh communism, जहाँ आपको रात को नहीं दिन में ही घर से गायब हो जाते हैं. And nobody knows, मतलब the state just kills you. Kills means kills, K-I-L-L-S. So he made stories on that expression against the state, taking money from the state. That's the beauty. So he took the money from the film fund of Poland, made these films which were an expression against the system, and people when they saw it, they felt, and it was all disguised. So after you see it 2 times, 3 times, you say, oh yeah, he's the Hamara hi ullu bana. So he's a great master. And in fact, we shot Mirzia with his student, Pavel Dillis, and Mere Pyare Prime Minister. So suddenly struck a chord. He was taught by Kieslowski. And he said, वो जो हमारे film school में उसका statue है ना, statue के हाथ में एक cigarette है. He used to smoke a lot. तो उन्होंने statue भी बनाया हाथ में cigarette पकड़ के. So I think it was amazing.
Sir, one question. Just अभी हमने बात किया, the best part of the you don't have that fear that you are not trained from a film school or something. जो पहले लोगों की preoccupied notion रहता है कि ये गलत होगा या ये सही होगा. In most of your film, I look at that constantly the flip and present. Again flashback, present, again flashback. It's just not happening. So when you start, writing, in screenplay and anything, how you think and visualize? इसके बाद ठीक वैसे होगा, everything, because simultaneously what happens in your story, there are 2 or 3 stories going on together. So that I find a difficult part as a filmmaking, and being you are not trained and just keep with a glimpse and you're making it and you're, so how you do that in a way?
Nothing. It's a process. There's nothing great about it. To begin with, it's a process, and when you keep repeating the process, you'll keep learning it, and you keep honing your skill in that process. So sometimes you get it, sometimes you push the boundary, you don't get it, but then you realize why you didn't. So you keep working at
But
it.
in Rang De Basant, it's amazing, and in Bhag Milkha Bhag, constantly past and present coming up with it. It's a very good
For those
thing.
2 scripts, let me tell you, there are 39 scripts which are lying, gathering dust in my office right now, and or ideas or screenplays, and
It's remarkable.
it's a way of, you're a storyteller, nothing else. A director is nothing but a storyteller. Once upon a time, a traveler would come, they would light a campfire, they would roast आलू भूनते थे और अपने कहानी सुनाते थे कि मैं वहाँ से आया हूँ, वहाँ पे ऐसा होता है, वहाँ एक बड़ी सी चीज़ होती है, उसको हम हाथी बोलते हैं, अच्छा, उसके 2 ऐसे दांत भी होते हैं, तो वो अपनी कहानी बता रहा है। और एक टाइम मैं हाथी पे बैठा था, तो जिन लोगों ने हाथी नहीं देखा, मे बी हिमालय में, वो स्टोरी टेलर था। फिर स्टोरी टेलिंग हैज इवॉल्व्ड इन वेरियस वेज, वेरियस streams have come out of it, and direction is nothing but telling a story on celluloid, using real actors and people and music and all these things. But essentially, at the bottom line of it is telling a story or an expression. Yeah.
Anybody else? Can we just keep to 1 question a person? 2 questions, there's so many people here.
Hello, I'm shivering right now. I just want to say you one thing. Sir, 2013 में जब भाग मिल्खा भाग रिलीज हुआ था, we were in class 12, and when we saw that film, when we watched, हम लोग कुल मिला के 12 दोस्त थे, and we all wanted to join army after that. And my all 11 friends are still trying. I am an aspiring filmmaker. Thank you.
No, the films do that to you. After I saw Diwar, we were 12 friends. We were all smoking BDs.
Thank you.
It's the power of cinema. Yeah, and I hope there are more people wanting to join army, unlike me, who want to smoke weed.
But I liked your take on realism and the fact that you included Nani in it. When you see something happening in real life and you don't much like it, you take the guy into a plane and you kill him off. So the cinema actually does this fantasy for you, this leap, which didn't happen in real life. When that reinterprets the habitat, reinterprets what could happen in the future, does that scare you that you are carrying too much responsibility on your shoulders? You may be misguiding people into shooting guys when they're out on a morning walk.
No, I stand by it.
Okay.
There was a huge debate while we were shooting. So there were 2 people were used. One was Bharti, my wife, and one was Amir Khan. वो आके कान में बोलते थे, वो यार पक्का मारेगा वो, टायर ने मार दिया, वो सॉन्डर्स को मार दिया ना, वो हिस्ट्री में है, अब इसका कुछ और, and they would use them because these 2 guys would influence me till I had to shut them up in publicly. Yeah, and I made a scheme of that. I said ये बहुत हो गया मैं, अब क्या होगा, तू मेरे से ये सवाल पूछेगा, मैं तेरी डांट लगाऊंगा बहुत जोर से, सबके आगे, इतने बड़े एक्टर को जब मैं डांटूंगा और कोई पूछेगा नहीं. तो वो हमने किया सर ड्रामा, और वो चल गया. 10 दिन तक तो किसी ने नहीं बोला कि तो see, the fact is I turned around and asked them one question. Everybody talks about this vigilante killing the defense minister, who was responsible for 202 deaths, guys. 202. I met 25 mothers who had lost their kids. I spent time with them. I went to their homes. Because my teachers were the wives of Air Force pilots. Balwati Air Force School अब थोड़ा बड़ा हो गया. उस time all the teachers were the wives of the servicemen. ऐसे वो school का structure था. Their children were my best friend and their fathers were flying. I understand that. That was one. Two, what would have Bhagat Singh done if he was today? Then 50 years later we would be celebrating Shahid Divas, correct? And a school holiday and all. And Mahinder Kapoor would be sitting. Three, lot of people, there is another character in the story which Siddharth played. His father is involved in the Meg Ghotala, Anupam Kher. He kills his own father. So, for me, that was a more dramatic moment to kill your own father with tears in your eyes, rather than killing the defense minister or this thing and that. Imagine one of us killing our own father. It's unimaginable. So that I felt was, that I explained them that. I said, "वो तुम्हें सही लग रहा है, he's killing his own father. What are you talking about?" The fifth fact was, which Atul Kulkarni speaks in India Gate. And we improvised that. I researched. Not a single youngster in the defense forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, is a politician's son. What's going on? Is it a coincidence? No, it's not. So, yeah, they should be shot dead.
Just one more question before we...
Good afternoon, sir. फिल्म के बारे में तो खैर काफ़ी बात हो गई, क्योंकि मेरा भी एक पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस है, मैं शेयर करूंगा, उसके बाद मैं सवाल पूछूंगा। सवाल पूछता हूँ सर। सवाल ये है सर कि आपने कंसीविंग द स्टोरी के बारे में तो काफ़ी बात की, तो हम जैसे जो नए फिल्म मेकर हैं उनके लिए आपके क्या सजेशन हैं? क्योंकि आपने कहा कि टेक्निक ऑटोमेटिकली डेवलप होती चली जाती है अगर आप स्टोरी कंसीव करते हैं, मेरे ख्याल से ये पूरा लबोलुआब था बात का। तो आज जब टेक्निक भी बहुत ज़्यादा मतलब प्रेफरेंस हर मैटर में मिल रही है, तो हम जैसे फिल्म मेकर्स के लिए आपके क्या सजेशंस हैं नए फिल्म मेकर्स के?
यार मैं सजेशन देने वाला कोई नहीं, नंबर वन, और मेरी किसी भी सजेशन को आप सीरियसली ना लीजिए, क्योंकि यू हैव योर ओन पाथ, योर ओन जर्नी, आप अपना रास्ता खुद ही ढूंढिए। इतना मैं आपको बोल सकता हूँ कि फिल्म मेकिंग compared to what it was 10 years ago and the times before that has become extremely affordable. You have to ask yourself the question. शीशे के आगे खड़े होकर अपने आप से सवाल पूछो जोर से, जोर से, और कि why you want to do that, what is your reason. You can make a film on a phone today, smartphone, and edit on your laptop. That's your expression. Or are you chasing something else, some glamour? Then first get that answer. Everything else will fall in place. That's it.
Thank you so much, Rakeysh. It's been a brilliant session. We couldn't ask for a better start to...
Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Cinestan YouTube channel for more interesting videos.